we're going to talk about something we have not talked about before. We're going to talk about finalize and present.
Yes, please.
And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And we're going to get started with this. So, okay. So once you're inside Transcriptionist, if you click on Edit and Edit Styles, you will go to the Styles section and you will see, let me get down to it. You will see all of these styles that begin with TNT, which for us stands for Trinidad and Tobago. And you'll see all these different things after that. Basic, juvenile, civil matter, compilation page, criminal appeal, criminal matter, family court, high court, inquest, juvenile court hearing, magistrate court, magisterial appeal, motion, petty civil, procedural appeal, protection order. Okay, let me also mention that if you have a need for a new style, all you have to do is send it to me via email, like send a copy of what the cover pages should look like. And if the formatting of the speakers is different or the Q&A is different, show me that too. And say, Adria, I need a style for this. I'd be happy to create it and post it on the Skype thread so that everybody can download it. So know that. Each one of these should be on your computer and ready for you to use. If it's not, let me know. I'd be happy to dial in and put it there. If at any point you lose your styles and you need help finding them, email me. I'll be happy to send them to you and tell you how to bring them back in. What I did this morning before I came on with you guys was I created a really quick case. So normally we would click on the new job and it would bring up the job information screen. And that's this here. And what I did was I went in and I filled in some false information, right? I just made it up because of course I don't really have any. There's not a real case and not real information. So I just made it all up. But it's important that you know that on the new job screen, you need to have all of these job replacement fields filled in before you finalize. And that is because this information that you put here is going to be merged with the cover pages that we were given way back during the first cohort. And see, these, they merge. And so we fill in all of this information before we finalize. Now, just so that you know, let's say you are starting a job today, right? So you bring in the audio and you're dictating it. You don't have to fill out this information before you dictate. That's not necessary.
Okay.
You just have to have it filled out before you actually finalize, because then it's going to merge, and if it doesn't have the information, it won't merge and it'll be empty. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to click on OK, and just so that you know, if ever you need to go back into a new job screen after the job, the second day, the third day, the fourth day, because let's say you have a 4-hour job, that's going to take you a few days, right, to dictate and edit and make it all correct. So you may be on the third day of working with this job, and you may say to yourself, well, today I'm finished. I'm finished with the text. It's all there. I've edited it. It looks right. Everything is good. So now I am ready to bring in those pages that go in front of the deposition and behind the proceeding, I should say, not always a deposition.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to want to bring those pages in. And if at any time you want to return to a job screen, you just double click on it.
Yeah. Okay.
You just double click on it and it'll bring it back up so that you can go and fill it in. And then you would click on apply and OK to get back. So I'm going to go ahead and go into scope, or what we call edit, because I don't have to go into dictate if I've done my dictation. I'm finished with my dictation. So I don't have to click on dictate because I don't have to load Dragon. Because it's when you load Dragon that it takes a while to open.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to click on edit because
Oh.
all I'm doing is going in to bring in my cover pages.
Mm-hmm.
So there is the text that I dictated this morning. And I'm going to pretend like I've already gone through it and made sure that all the text is correct.
Right.
And so now I'm going to click on job and I'm going to click on finalize. Third option from the bottom. And it's going to come up, and basically what it's showing me here in this dialog is the pages that are matched with this style. And just to show you, I'm going to go ahead and click on open. You don't normally have to do this, okay? But I want you to see what the page looks like before we merge it with that information. So here's what the pages look like. There we go. And then let's see what the pages behind the transcript look like. Okay.
Oh, one in front and one behind. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's the declaration, right? Okay. So now I've said to myself, you know what? Those are the right pages, and I'm ready for the information to be merged. So I'm simply going to click on OK. It's telling me that the following speakers were not found in the speaker information
That's what
database.
you have to do it up there.
And that's because I didn't change the actual
Yeah.
names. So I'm going to say OK there. And here it brings in all of my information.
Right. Okay.
So here we are.
But, excuse me, Adria, would everyone mute themselves while Adria is speaking, if y'all don't mind?
I'm it.
Okay. Let me see. I can probably mute all here. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, so as we scroll down, you will see this right here is just the case name right here. I just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then here are the false names I made up, and then the name of the justice and civil court, the address of the courthouse, the date, the name of the attorneys. And then this would be where we would put in our index, if we would create an index. And then there's our text, and then there's our declaration following the proceeding. And now we're ready to move to the word processor, which is Microsoft Word. So we're going to click on Job and Present. And it's going to open up Microsoft Word on our computer. And here we go. So,
Is this a print set?
I think that it's not a print set, but for some reason it opened it as a PDF. So I'll have to go and see why. It shouldn't be a print set. Let's see. Now, what Michelle is asking is if possibly something is set wrong in my style, that it did not open Microsoft Word. Instead, it opened the document as a PDF, which is something that we can do, but not really what I wanted to do. So I'm going to pop back in there and see what the problem is. Go to layout and includes, and sure enough it has a print set here, so I'm going to clear the print set and I'm going to do apply and OK. And now I am going to do something that I don't think I've ever showed you before. This is a good thing to know. When you present to the word processor and then you realize that maybe you forgot to add your cover pages, you can click on, with the job highlighted, right? You can click on View and Show Files. And then down here where it says Presented Documents, I can highlight this and I can go up here and say, hide the present file. Do you want to hide it? Yes. What that does is it just makes Transcriptionist believe that I haven't gone to the word processor yet. Pardon me. So I'm going to do it again. With my job highlighted, I'm going to go to File. Oops, no. Let me just click on the Present button. And now it should open in Microsoft Word. Okay, let me show you what this is. Do you see this? It says Present this job. And it says Open Job with Media Controller. What this is this is allowing you to be able to listen to the audio again should you want to in Microsoft Word. I'm going to leave it checked so that you can see that it'll bring up the media player. And it's just telling me that it's correct. It's got the correct number of section breaks. And then what it's going to do is it's going to, there you go. It's opened in Microsoft Word. And over here on the left, this is going to allow me to listen to the audio again if I want to.
What is your current position with the hospital?
I am a clinical epidemiologist.
That's just the audio. So I can even control it with my foot pedal right here in Word if I want to. But that's just a feature I wanted to show you. So let's look at the Word document. What you will find, do you see here that there is something in the footer here? It says recorded via audio digital system and transcribed by Court Rapid Text Entry Specialist, Court Reporting Services Unit, Judiciary of Trinidad and Tobago. And so that's something that was required to be in the footer. And then what you'll see is that there's a header and it says day of week, day, month, year, case number. If you double click on that lighter text, it will then allow you to type in the day of the week, the day, the month, and the year. And then over here I would go and put in my case number. And then if you just double click away from the header area, it will close the header. And now that will be on every page for you. And then now we're at the proceedings section here. Now, let me show you something. There's multiple headers in this document. So let's say that I didn't want to have to type this again. I could highlight this, right click and copy, and then up in the toolbar there is a go to footer, previous, and next. If you go to next, it'll go to the next header. I can highlight this header and just do Control V to paste. And there we go. So I haven't had to retype it. I've just pasted it. And I can click on Close Header and Footer. That way it's there and I don't have to retype it. And there we go. Now, I didn't have enough text to go to the bottom, but there we go. And then there's the declaration. So did you see what I did? I just put my cursor here and I hit enter so that the rest of my line numbers would appear. So, because even though there are only 45 lines on the page, normally they do want to see all of the line numbers. So we just hit enter to the end of the page to get them. And then here we are. There is our declaration page. We can click on File and Save, and we are done. If the judiciary would like a PDF, a lot of the courts in the states are moving to wanting a PDF as the final instead of a Word document like a docx. So I'd just like to just show you real quick how to do that. If you click on File and Print, you will see an option for Microsoft Print to PDF. You click on that, and then you click on Print, and it's going to come up and say, hey, where do you want to put this PDF file? So you might want to path to Documents, and maybe you have a folder called My Finished Transcripts in PDF. And you would maybe want to name it Pain versus Acme Tools. And then you would hit Save. And if I brought up my File Explorer and I went to my Documents and the folder called My Finished Transcripts, there would be Pain versus Acme Tools. And if I double click on it, it will open in a PDF document. Now, whether or not the Judiciary of Trinidad wants it in this format or not, I don't know. But I wanted you to be able to present it to them in that format should they want it that way. It's not hard to do, and it is a more archival way of storing documents. So now I'm going to go ahead and close out of Word because I've saved my document and it's attached to this job. Now, there might be one other thing that the judiciary may ask for, and that might be an Ascii file. And so we can do an Ascii. It's very simple. Still the same job is highlighted. And I'm going to click on File. And I'm going to click on Generate Ascii. Now that brings up this dialog. And the first thing we want to do is say, well, we want this to be created from the finished document that we created in the present phase in Word. So we definitely want to select from present file. We definitely want to say here that we have 50 lines per page. We want to show the line numbers and the page numbers. We may want friendly line and page numbering. We can limit to lines on page if you want to. And we don't do fake line numbering. So the only other thing here is that where it says Ascii file name, if you would notice that it's going to go to C Ascii files, and the name is the case name, Pain versus Acme Tools. But I don't want the .doc, so I'm going to take that off. And then I'm going to click on Create, and you're going to see it being created here at the bottom. It says for some files, this counter may be, that happened too fast, I'm sorry. And then now it's saying writing line, and now it's saying finished writing Ascii. Once it says finished, you can go up to the very first icon and view the Ascii file. And here we go, here's the Ascii. And
Adria, should we have put the .txt in place of the .doc? I guess it's not important because it looks okay.
Generally, it should be creating the TXT for itself, but let me check.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the Ascii files on my C drive, see Ascii files, Pain versus Acme Tools, and it does not have a .txt, Michelle, so let me try that. Instead of just finishing, I'm going to go back to the file name, and I'm going to add a .txt, and I'm going to click on Create again and let it recreate and see if anything different happens, just for the sake of it. This is a small file, so it doesn't take long. The longer the file, the longer it takes. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to click on View Ascii, and it looks the same to me. So
Yes, it does.
I'm going to go and check the Ascii folder again to see if, yeah, looks the same. So that's just another format in which you can provide the end product. So the other thing that I would like to show you is that when you are done with a job and you have turned it in, it is up to the judiciary to decide if they want you to maintain these files on your computer or if it's okay for you to go ahead and delete these files. So in case you are allowed to delete them, I would like to show you how to delete them. So I'm going to click on a job, any job. I'm going to click on File and Delete Job. It's going to say, are you sure you want to delete the job titled 10.3.54 created on 12/4/2019? I'm going to say yes, and there we go. We do have an option. If you go to Options and Preferences, about halfway down there is an option to allow multiple job deletion, and if that is checked, which mine is, I'm going to show you that I can actually then click on one and then hold down the Control key as I click on others, and then I can do File, Delete Job, and it's going to come and say, do you want to delete all of those jobs? And when I say yes, it'll make them all go away. So that's how you can clean up your computer. Remember that once you do that, as we said last week, you should then go to your recycle bin, which I believe is on my other screen. So hang on. Here we go. There's my recycle bin. I'm going to right click and empty my recycle bin, and then I'm going to say yes, and that will make sure that I have actually gotten rid of all the audio and the text. And so now the reason that I show you that is because audio files are large, and after a little while, if you don't remove them, it's going to fill up your computer. And so we don't want that to happen. So if you are at all interested in keeping your text files but removing the audio, you can do that too. And I'm going to just real quick show you how you can do that. If I wanted to keep the text but delete the audio, I could highlight the job, go to View, Show Files, and you'll see that it'll say General Job Files, Dictations, Sound Files, presented documents. You can go to the sound files, highlight a sound file, and then click on delete selected file, say OK, and there it goes. I'm going to do the other one now, delete selected file, OK, and poof, there it goes. And so doing just that will at least delete the audio so as not to fill up your computer. Okay? Any questions on that at all?
How about deleting the voice data?
Oh my goodness, that's really important, Michelle. Thank you. Okay, so when you are dictating, you create what we call voice data, which is also known as a DRA file. That's a Dragon file, a Dragon recorded audio file. And they are large. These files are large. So when you delete the audio, it's not deleting your voice data. To delete the voice data, you would click on File, you would highlight a job or multiple jobs, and click on Delete Voice Data. And then you would click on OK, and it would make it go away. You could also go to File and Delete Extra Files. And in that way, you can say, show me everything that is presented, meaning only the things that are finished. And then you could say, okay, well, I want to select all here, and I want to delete the voice data for these files. And I could click on delete, and it would delete the voice data for those files. And that also is going to greatly reduce the amount of audio stored on your computer so that it doesn't fill up. Any questions on that? Is that pretty clear? Yeah?
It's also a good idea, you know, if you're not going to be doing any more dictation or voice corrections on the job, even if you still have to produce the transcript, deleting the voice data is going to clear up room right away. So, and you know, if you don't do it often, if there is a new version of Dragon or you create a new user, you cannot use voice data that you created with one user with a new user. So if you have to create a new user, that's a good time to go and clear all the voice data that's on your computer off and give yourself kind of a fresh start.
Very good. Very good advice, Michelle. I've made you the host. And so it's your show.
Okay. Okay, so one thing, we had something happen last week, and I forget who it was with, so I apologize. I think it might have been Hillary. She was having trouble, and she was not able to dictate into Transcriptionist. And so what we wound up having to do is clean Dragon off and reinstall it. So I thought it would be a good idea to have it, to do this, and for you to have it in a video so that you can see in the future. Because if Dragon gets to the point where you've created a new user, you've done a few things and nothing helps, sometimes it is beneficial to uninstall it and reinstall it. Unfortunately, with Dragon 15 and the patch, the 15.3, what you have to do is you have to completely clean it off to remove it. And so we're going to go through that process. Now, I believe it was last week or the week before we went over exporting your Dragon user profile. And today, what's on my list to do is clean Dragon, reinstall, import a user, and also create a new user, just to give you another video on how to do that. So what I'm going to do, I took the liberty of opening Dragon while Adria was doing her dog and pony show. And so now what I'd like to do is I have my user profile open, and I want to export, because I'm going to be creating a new user, I want to export my word list. And with the word list, I'm going to say this, and you've probably heard it already, but if you have to create a new user, all this work that you've put into Dragon, training words, adding in street names and things that we've done during the class, that word list can be very beneficial to you as you move forward. It's something that even though you have to create a new user, you can actually move these into the new user and still use them without having to rebuild that list. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to vocabulary and export custom word and phrase list. I'm going to change this to an XML file. And you can see I'm putting it on my flash drive like we did last week. And I'm going to call this Michelle word list. And you can see I'm so creative. I'll always give it a date because dates are important to me. And it's just good to know if you've worked on the user profile since the previous date, you have, just gives you an idea. So I'm going to click on save, and that's relatively fast. So I'm going to go to profile and I'm going to exit Dragon. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File Explorer, and I tried to put the files in the same location that you may have them. So I'm going to go to Documents, and I believe in your folder it's called AudioScribe Installs Do Not Delete, but I didn't remember exactly, so I copied the flash drive that we sent to you guys. And so in that subfolder there's going to be Dragon Professional Individual. Okay. So give me 1 second because that does not have the clean file. And I'm going to put the link. If you want to download this, it's good to download it, but be careful not to run it until you absolutely need it.
Because it erases all of your Dragon profiles. It erases them.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to also put it in the Skype thread. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this. And as Adria said, if you decide to do a Dragon clean, you should export every user profile that you have. Or let me rephrase that. Every user profile that you want to keep. For example, I had user profiles and backups. So I just exported the user, not the backup. Okay, so I'm going to now go to my downloads folder. I'm going to copy this link and put it into the same folder that we're working with right now. And I would suggest, you're getting the link today, download it and put it in the folder with your Dragon installs in a subfolder so it's not easy to get to. So here we are. It's called the Dragon DPI 15 Cleaner. It's number 2 because apparently that's the second time I've downloaded it. And then you double click on the file. The cleaning is pretty simple. I am going to have to reboot. Part of the clean is rebooting the computer. So we'll have Adria entertain you while I reboot my computer and get back into the meeting. And it will tell you if there's any applications that you need to close out of. Before it can continue with the install. And so I did close those items, and I'm going to retry. Well, I'm going to ignore it because I have closed out of Excel. And if it says if these programs are left open during installation, Dragon may have trouble interacting with them. This may reduce dictation functionality in these programs. Are you sure you want to continue? I'm going to say yes. And then clean. I don't dictate into Excel, so it's not going to affect me. Then it's going to give us a status of what's going on. In the meantime, I'm just going to close out of other programs I have open because the computer will be rebooting. Oh, one thing I should mention before you do this, you should make sure that you have your Dragon serial number handy. And so that information, I believe is in their spreadsheet, Adria?
That information was sent to them right at the beginning. But I tell you what, today when I send all of you your updated scores, I will resend the Word document that has your Dragon serial number, your Transcriptionist serial number, the links to the installations and all of that. I'll just resend it,
Okay.
just so that you have it. It's something you should keep, but keep in mind that we always have that information for you. So if you need it and you've misplaced it, please just email us, no problem, and ask for it, and we'll be happy to provide it for you.
Speaking of which, Adria, since I've closed Goldmine, could you go into my Goldmine user and get my Dragon 15 serial number? Because I forgot to write it down before I started this process.
Do as I say and not as I do.
Don't be like Michelle. And as you can see, this can take some time. Any questions about Dragon while this is going on?
Okay, Michelle, I sent it to you via Skype.
Okay.
Just your thread.
Okay, and so what I'm going to do is as soon as this is done, if I log out, will you automatically regain the host position?
Most likely, yes.
Okay. And then I'll get back into the meeting as soon as possible.
Not a problem at all. One thing that I'd like to remind you all is that we do have a forum where you can find all sorts of wonderful information, and it's free to you forever. So for as long as you use the product, you will have access to our forum where you can download help documents, you can ask questions, you can do all of that. And so please visit us there as well. And if you friend me or Michelle on Facebook, we can actually add you to our Facebook support group, which is also completely free. And you can ask questions there, not only of us, but of other customers. You can just ask a question, and whoever's available will answer it. That could be somebody from anywhere in the world. And so there's always somebody awake somewhere.
I was just thinking, should we make a transcriptionist group?
Oh, we have one.
Oh,
Oh, you mean on Facebook?
Yes.
I don't know why we'd separate them out. all of our products have the same capabilities. So to me, they're all voice writers and they all have need for the same tools.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah. What do you think, Diane?
I think they all have a similar need. I personally have them separated, but that's because such limited use now.
Right.
Sorry this is taking so long.
Well, that's a good point, though. Dragon does, not only does the cleaner take a while, but the installation takes a while.
Yes.
And so don't be concerned that something is wrong. It's not. It just takes a while. Installing our software, the Transcriptionist software, is super fast. Super fast. This is a different story, but Dragon is far more complex and has a lot more to it than our software, and so it does take a lot longer to install and to remove. Other things that I'd like for you all to remember, as we won't be seeing you on a regular basis, as we won't have you as a captive audience. Just remember that you can ask for styles to be created at no charge. Styles come with the creation of the software, and because we created them already for an earlier cohort, they already exist for you. So we are more than happy to create more if you need them. You just let me know. There's no charge for that, okay? So if you are creating some new sort of transcript that you don't have a style for, just let me know. I'll be happy to create that for you. If you think of things that would make good voice strokes that you would like created, please send those to me. I'd be happy to create them. And anytime I create any new resources for any of the cohorts, I share it with all of the cohorts because it applies to all of you. So if you need it, great. If you don't, you can ignore it. But at least that way you have access to it should you need it.
And I believe we don't close the Skype thread, right?
Oh no, I never closed the Skype thread.
So if you guys ever want to share something with everyone, like if, you know, we talked a couple of weeks ago about vocabulary builder and cleaning up transcripts. That's something that you guys can share amongst yourselves that can help each other. And so that's a place that you can share them. And, you know, if you think of something that you feel might, I'm going to go ahead and click on finish here, that might help the software work better. You can also suggest it to us. And here we go. I have to reboot my computer, so I'm going to say bye for a few minutes. Au revoir.
Au revoir. One of the things that Michelle was just saying about sharing, one of the things that we were not able to do just because transcripts are private, and so I totally understand the judiciary not being willing to share transcripts with us, but remember that if once you start creating transcripts, if you can then run them through the Learn from Specific Documents feature that we've shared with you, that we've taught you about, that is going to increase your accuracy tremendously. So if you can do that and share that with each other, that would be really, really good for you all. So do know that you can share that. You can share so many resources. And one of the things that we value so much is your input. Because you're using the software every day, there are going to be things that come to your mind. Like, ooh, you know what? It would be so nice if the software did this for us. If you have an idea, please send it to me. We have created our software by listening to the people that use it. Meaning, if you want something, we want to add it because you are most important. No one's more important than our customers and what they need in the software. So if you think of an idea that you think would make the software better, please let us know. We'd be happy to try to add that to the software for all of you.
And I don't know of another group of individuals or company anywhere that will absolutely, if you send a suggestion and they review it, they can implement it and actually program it maybe that same afternoon. I've had it happen in the past, and that is just, that's unheard of, except for AudioScribe. So
Thank you, Diane. We do try to do that.
oh, thank you. Now, sometimes it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But, I've never seen anyone quite as responsive. And even over the weekends, if someone has a problem, they'll be with some of the reporters that may be in court and working. If there's something going on, they'll be with them at 7 o'clock that morning to get it straightened out before time. You just don't have that availability. And I try to say how appreciative I am every opportunity that I get. Just
Aw. Thank you, Diane.
You're
We do
welcome.
try to be here for our customers. You know, with transcriptionists, you're not holding up the court if your software is not working. But if your software is not working, you're not working. And that matters to us. That matters to us a great deal. If you're not working, you're not being productive, you're not making money, you can't support your family, that matters to me every day. So I want to know. If your software is not working, I want to know. I want to know immediately. I want to know the minute you know. Send me an email. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. It may be one of those days and Adrian may be awake. So, you know, always know that you can email us and we're pretty responsive about our emails. You can Skype us. And if you are in trouble, I want to know about it. And I want to be able to help. Okay? And normally I can help. Normally, if you let me know what the problem is, I can usually resolve it with you. Sometimes I'll say, ooh, you know what? That's a computer problem. Call in your support. Call in tech support. But I can tell you I can generally figure out with you if it is a problem that we need to call in tech support to handle, or if we can handle it together. So just know that we're here for that purpose. You know, just because today is the last day that we will all gather together for an official class does not mean that it's the end of our experience together. It is just really, it's the beginning of a much more serious part of our work together, which is the work that you're going to do for the judiciary, the work that you're going to do to earn your living, and it's going to be even more important that you get your questions answered when you have questions. So know that we're right here for you. Please.
There is an IT question for you in the group chat.
Oh, okay. Good morning. Kenwin from IT here. Okay. A user came to me recently with an issue on Transcriptionist. When they created a new job, the styles option was grayed out. I checked to see if it was in the correct folder. I imported the styles, but still no progress. Any thoughts? Yes. That is a great question. Thank you for asking it. Let me show you. Okay, I'm going to click on the new job. Now, notice here there is a field called case. If I go there and I select anything other than the word none, then the style is grayed out. Do you see that? Now, if I go to none, then I can select a style. See that? Does that make sense, everyone?
No, it's not coming up.
Did you see it or no? Okay,
No.
let me show you again. Okay, can you see the screen? Are you seeing the new job screen?
No.
In your job stream didn't come up.
No, it didn't come up.
It has not come up. Okay,
No.
thank you for letting me know. Okay. Okay. Do you see it now?
Yes, we do. Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
Back.
now hi Michelle. We're talking about the case screen. We're talking about how if you have a case selected, you cannot select a style. So if I select anything other than the word none, anything, you may not have anything currently, but if you type something in here like a case name,
And word of caution, do not delete the case none. If you
you can
delete,
always create a new one, but
you can, but until you create a new one, you will have some issues.
so if I type something into the case field, automatically I'm creating a case. So if I don't do that and instead I click on none, I can select any style I want. But when you click on anything other than none, the style is grayed out and cannot be selected. Do you see that?
Yes.
And the reason for that is this. I don't know that you would have as much use for it as our court reporters, but let me explain what it's for. Let's say that there is a trial, and that trial goes on for 3 days. There are going to be at least 3 audio files. And so you are most likely going to import one audio file and dictate it. That's going to be one job. And then you're going to have another one to do, so you're going to import that one and dictate it. If you have to have separate transcripts for that one job, you could actually create a case and fill in all these information fields. And then when you come to do the second job, instead of selecting none as the case and the right style, you would select the case you created, and all of the information would already be filled in for you. That's the whole reason of using the case field. I don't think that transcriptionists have as much need for it as a court reporter. I'll show you. If I go to edit and edit cases, and I open up a case. So I'm going to open up the court case, and I'm going to click on open here. I would come in here and I would type in all of the information. I'm going to just type in a few things right here so I can show you.
And remember to type these in the way they need to appear on the transcript. So if they have to be in all caps, you should type them here in all caps.
The date we would not fill out because that would change. So I'm just going to do apply and OK. and I'm going to close here, and I'm going to go back to my job screen, and I'm going to choose the court, and it grays out the style. And then I want you to notice that where it says show, it says show replacement values for job. If I click on the drop down here and choose show replacement values for case, look, the information I typed in the case appears. So in that way, if I had to have that same job information for multiple jobs, then I wouldn't have to type it in again and again and again. I would just say, I'm going to use that case, and I'm going to show replacement values for that case. And so that is what the case field is for. And so as long as you have none set there, you can select any style you want. But when you select a specific case, the style for the case is selected when you create the case. And the information you put in there will come forth. Okay? So is that a good answer? Yeah?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, very good. That was a terrific question. Any other questions? Because that was a really good one. If you delete the voice audio on Transcriptionist, would that affect the corrections that was pushed through on that voice audio? That's a great question. Okay, answer, no. It will not affect the corrections that were pushed through, because once you push those corrections through to Dragon, you're done. Dragon has learned, and it has, no, it will not affect your accuracy either, Leary. That's a good question. It will not affect your accuracy. It will not affect the corrections that you push through, because once you push them through, now don't delete it before you push those corrections through. Don't do that. You have to push your corrections through first. But once you do that, you can delete the voice data for the job. Great question. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and give the host back to Michelle. Once I find her. There you are, Michelle.
Sorry
Okay.
it took so long to reboot my computer.
No problem. You're the host now, Michelle.
Okay.
You want to share your screen? There we go.
If I just did. Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay, so once we have cleaned off Dragon, it is no longer on our computer, and so now I will go to installs. I believe that your installation files are in your documents under AudioScribe installs. It may also be on the flash drive that you received from us. It should also be on there. Wait a minute. It is not there. So okay, so I have the DPI 15 installs. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the Dragon Professional V15 individual. And Adria gave me my handy dandy. My computer is running really slow. I'm going to grab my Dragon serial number. I'm going to click on Install. And remember that the part that's different is that we do the cleaner. We have a FAQ on how to install Dragon as well. But this video, I'm going to walk you through the process. As we said earlier, it can take some time. So you just have to whistle or drink some coffee. And apparently, drinking warm drinks is good for the coronavirus. Well, no, it's bad for the coronavirus. So,
It can also be bad for dictation to use warm.
Really?
Produces more mucus and it changes the voice. Coat your throat.
so if you're a voice writer, should you not drink coffee at all? Please don't say that. Please don't
Are you
say that.
kidding? I can't live without coffee. I'd never say that.
Okay.
I don't drink it when I'm working, when I'm dictating. Let's put it that way. It's room temperature water only, and then just a sip at a time so that it doesn't cause any problems.
So
No cold water constricts the throat. No hot water. It postnasal drip.
Amen.
It opens your sinuses.
Amen.
Changes the sound totally.
Amen.
For me.
I agree, Janelle and Nicole. Coffee, and Adria can agree too. Adria and I have an affinity for coffee.
I think it's more of an addiction.
Me too. Me too. I'm addicted.
I used to drink a lot more than I do now.
Well, you know, it's funny. We started working from home about a couple of years ago. And when we were in the office, I drank a lot more coffee because it was kind of a social thing with me and Adria. We'd say, let's get up and have a cup of coffee. And so probably by noon, we'd have 4 or 5 cups of coffee. And now I'm down to 2. 2 large cups of coffee, but 2 none the same.
I can't say that. I can't say that I'm only 2 cups. I might be only 2 cups in this morning.
Well, this is
But
number
there
2.
will be more throughout the day.
Okay, so here we go. Sorry, this is so time consuming, guys. The reason we're covering this is because we think it's a good idea for you to know how to save yourself if something goes wrong. After this, Adria, do you think maybe we should show them how to uninstall and reinstall Transcriptionist as well?
I was actually going to suggest that.
Okay, great minds think alike.
Yes. I think it's a really good idea to know how to uninstall and reinstall. And it's important also to know that when you are uninstalling and reinstalling Transcriptionist, for example, you're not touching any of your work files. So even if you uninstall Transcriptionist and reinstall it, it is not going to mess with any of your dictations. It's not going to, like, let's say you're in the middle of dictating a file, it's not going to affect your job data. It's only going to affect the program files. So it's safe to uninstall and reinstall. Unlike with the Dragon Cleaner, you can't use the cleaner until you are certain that you have exported your Dragon user profile, because it will wipe them out.
So is coffee, I'm reading this, do y'all grow coffee on the islands? Yes. Because when I was in Jamaica, that was one of the things that they told us they have really good coffee. So I did get some home, bring some home for my sister, who's also a coffee lover, and she took care of my cats while I was on the cruise. So,
African coffee is also
oh,
excellent.
yes.
Michelle and I learned when we went to Africa, oh, their coffee is excellent. And we learned that was the first place that I had ever had hibiscus tea. Oh my goodness.
I
Have you
love
had hibiscus tea? It is so good. It is so good.
Do you guys do have tea every day? Like, yes. That that was the first time we
Trisha
had
does,
had
yes.
tea. We had every day at what 10 o'clock. We had they broke for tea, and so we had tea or coffee, which I drink coffee. Adria too. I like tea, but I drink tea mostly when I'm sick, not at other times. And so we had coffee, and we had almost a complete meal. And then they broke a couple of hours later for lunch, and we were like, man, how can we eat anymore? We're full from lunch and breakfast. But the food was fantastic. But I love tea.
My best
Yo,
friend still drinks tea. She's the one that,
I love cocoa,
my best
Rochelle.
friend that's from Trinidad, she taught me how to drink tea when we started living together in college. And so I have tea the way she has tea with cream and sugar.
Mhm.
And when I'm at her house, I have tea instead of coffee. 'Cause she's still a tea drinker. I think
Um,
it stays at this stage forever, doesn't it, Michelle?
yeah, I think I'm going to back out of this for a second, okay? I think I'm going to go ahead and install it from a different place on the server because it seems to be running slow off of the flash drive, and I think that might be part of the problem.
Okay.
So give me just 1 second to restart it. It just works better when.
Everything slowed down for a while. I was kicked off 4 different times.
The internet's just really busy because even the videos, I can see my video is delayed. Okay.
Hmm.
There we go. Well, while we're waiting, does anyone have any other questions?
Yes, I have one. Um, Concerning the cleaner, if they use the cleaner to uninstall Dragon, does that the files that we had to like copy to documents and specific folders, like the audio scribe folders and so forth, do those get removed as well?
No, the only thing the only thing that gets removed is dragging in all of your user profiles.
Okay.
So once we reinstall Dragon, we will import our user profile that we had previously. And so all the work that we've done with that user profile will remain with it. But it's just related to Dragon.
Okay.
Michelle, would you show them? Because that's an IT person. So would you just go ahead and show them where the Dragon user profiles live? Just show them the file structure from File Explorer. I think they might appreciate that.
Oh
Okay.
yes, 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 I will.
Okay. So because do you want to take control and show yours? Because I
Yes.
removed Dragon and I don't have those
Oh,
files right now.
I'm sorry. Of course.
I could show you my file structure, but it won't be relevant.
It won't be the file structure that we need, right?
Right, right.
Okay.
So do I need to stop sharing so that you can share?
Um,
Yeah.
I should be able to reclaim the host.
Oh, I have 2 Dragon installs going. That might be part of the problem.
That could very well be part of the problem. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, so in the File Explorer, we're going to go to the C drive and Program Data and Nuance, and then Naturally Speaking 15, and then Users, and there are all my users. So if something happens to their computer, and you need to do a Windows reinstall, you can access their user profiles by coming to the File Explorer and coming to this location and literally copying the user's folder and pasting it onto an external hard drive or a server. So that's the structure where the user profiles are there. And then just while I'm here in the Windows Explorer, if we go back to C and Program Data, the AudioScribe data is located at AudioScribe, Transcriptionist, and then you'll see all of the folders that keep specifically the audio, the text files, the voice data. This is all of the files. This is where we keep all of the files. Here's where we keep all of the cover pages that go before and after the transcript, the layouts for Microsoft Word. So our whole file structure is right here. So that will also help you just to know where those files are. And I believe that for the most part, we put all of the files that we wanted them to have in the My Documents folder, I believe, in a folder called AudioScribe, I believe, AudioScribe Resources or something like that. And also to the IT people, should you ever need us, please feel free to email me at adria@audioscribe.com
Or support at audioscribe.com will come to the both of us. That's
right.
the best avenue, as if one of us is on vacation, the other one, or, for some reason we're out of the office, the other will be able to take care of it.
Right, and Michelle is the head of the tech department here. So Michelle is the one who decides how software is going to be installed, what our specifications for hardware should be, and how the Windows operating system should be set up. All of those things Michelle decides. So if you specifically want to speak to Michelle about anything like that, please feel free to contact her at any point in time. And also, if you'd like to have the ability to see the videos that we've done with the students, please feel free to email me and I will send you links to all the videos.
Adria, I do have a
Okay, thank you.
question.
Yes.
So I know that at the end of the month they'll won't have access. I mean, I don't know when access to Transcriptionist ends, but are the videos
Access to ACE?
Yes, ACE. When do they get the links to the videos from the classes that they can watch in perpetuity?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I tell you what, this will be the last video. And right after the class, I try to send you the unedited video. And then once the edited video is up, I send you that one. And what I am more than happy to do, once this last one is complete, is I'm happy to send you all an email with links to each of the classes. And you have access to those videos forever. Forever. That way you can look at them at any time you want to and remember what we went over or learn something new again.
And they do also still have access to we do have an Audio Scribe YouTube channel.
Yes, we have an Audio Scribe YouTube channel and an ACE YouTube channel. ACE is for the school. Audio Scribe is just for customers. So you guys have access to videos that were recorded. I'm actually going to send you all the links to the videos that were recorded for all of the cohorts. That way, for those of you, if you would like to see videos from other cohorts, you can certainly go and watch that as well. As far as we're concerned, all of the videos are for anyone who works for the judiciary of Trinidad. The judiciary is the one who pays for the education, and they, as far as we are concerned, all of their employees should have access to those videos.
Adria, I think for time purposes, after I get the installation going, would you mind maybe creating a new user for them? You know, because since the install is taking so very long, I hate to spend the whole class just watching, waiting
Oh,
for
you want me to
Dragon.
just create the new user?
Yes, let me just get this going, you know, show them what to select and then putting in their serial number, and then you can do that.
Okay.
So it might be a good idea if you don't have your word list exported to do that now.
Oh, girl. You are so silly.
Well, you know. As you can see, this can be time consuming. So if you're going to do it, you need to make sure you probably have at least an hour to do so. So just keep that in mind. You should never do this, you know, right before you have a dictation that you need to do right away. Unless you're dead in the water and have no other choice.
Right.
And that's usually when this happens. It's, you just have to have a lot of patience. Okay, so the final date and time for submitting all quizzes and dictations is
March 30th.
March 30th at 10, I think we said 10 p.m. was the 10 p.m. our time is the deadline.
That's fine with me.
Yes.
I think we had said 5 p.m. their
Oh.
time, but
I'm sorry.
honestly, I'm totally fine with 10 p.m. that night. It does not matter to me. Most everybody's finished, so I'm perfectly fine with it being 10 o'clock. Do you want me to go ahead and just show them now how to create the new user?
Yes, and maybe when this gets up, I can pause and show them what to do, or I guess we don't have to show them the rest of the Dragon install since we have the instructions, right?
Right. I mean, it's really very obvious. There's nothing you have to change.
No, especially for them because they install all regions, right?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, when you get to the option, you're going to choose all regions, and you're going to put in your Dragon serial number, which you should already have, and you just click on next, next, and finish. And so what I can do is show you how to install, once you do the user, install the 15.3 patch. So I'll let you take over, Adria. I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay. So I'm going to open Dragon. Okay. So when you're creating a new user, creating a new user is super, super quick. So I'm going to click on Profile, New User Profile. And I'm going to click on New again and Next. And I like to name my profiles for what they are. So if it's for a headset user, I say headset user. If it's for a mask user, I say mask user. So I'm going to go ahead and call this one headset user. I'm going to just put new since I already have a headset user. And
Adria, we're not seeing your screen.
Oh,
I'm
you're
not
not?
anyway. No.
Oh gosh, okay.
So
Let's see what the problem is.
I see the screen also.
Oh. Why am I not seeing it?
You see my screen, Diane?
Yes, I have the whole time.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, something happened before that I did not see a screen, and there was a delay before it swapped from. I don't remember if it went from Adria to you, Michelle, or the other way, but there was still a delay.
Okay, so I think everyone's seeing it now. So I'll click on Next. And of course, you guys have to select what's right for you as far as region. I believe that you guys select United Kingdom, maybe, and then possibly accent not otherwise specified. So you always want to select what's right for you. Click on Next. And then this is important. You need to make sure you select the correct audio device. And for all of us, that's going to be the Sound Blaster Play 3. And I'm going to click on Next and Next. And then I'm going to read. I'll just use my mask since that's all I have connected. Dry voice and audio environment. As a dog dragon is checking the quality of the audio input and adjusting some settings. Good audio input is essential for accurate speech recognition. And next. And then after we create the new user, what we're going to do is set our options always. I always select don't enable this and next and finish. Now, I always exit out of the tutorial and then I see this floating dragon bar. I go to tools and options and then I proceed to set my options the way specified by our instructions. We deselect all of these options here. I select Docked to Top, Show Extras, Anchor, and Show Preliminary Results. I also don't show the tips. And then I go to Miscellaneous. I leave it on the second tick mark myself. I want it to alert me when the audio quality is low. I want to use the dictation box for unsupported applications, and I want to alert in case of disconnection of target applications. I go to data and I change this to 555544449999, whichever you prefer. 5555 ought to do you fine. I do select Run Accuracy Tuning. I click on Apply and OK. It will change the look of the bar on the top of my screen. Then I'm going to go to Vocabulary and import list of words or phrases. We've exported this list before, so I'm going to preview the list of unknown words. Click on Next. Click on Add File. I'm going to go to C, Topic Files, Marker Files, and Word Lists. And I'm going to go to Adria's word lists because it's my word lists that I want. And generally, I'll go to the word list that I last created. So I'm going to bring this list in. I'm going to click on Open. So there's my list. I'm going to click on Next and Next. And here are all of the words that I want to add. I'm going to check all, Next, check all again, and Train. Next. Oops, what happened? It didn't let me train them. I might have been a little too quick on clicking on the next. I can always go to Vocabulary, open Vocabulary Editor. Next to Display, I can do Custom Words Only, and all my custom words will be here. I'll click on the first, scroll down to the bottom, hold down the Shift key and click on the last. Then I can click on Train. Okay. Keep it. Keep it. Keep it. Keep it. Speed 1. Speed 2. Speed 19. Speed 2. Speed 3. Speed 4. Speed 5. Speed 6. Speed 7. Speed 8. Speed 9. 29. 20. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. 20. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. 31. 32. Note to self. Cat. Auto direct. Auto previously sworn. Auto request. redirect. Orbit flow. Dynamic assists. Built up. FPLS. Intermilitary. Keep. Save. And save. Now before I exit out of my vocabulary editor, next to display, I'm going to go to words with spoken forms only, and I'm going to delete these commands that get us in trouble when we're dictating. And we're deleting all caps off, all caps on, cap next, caps off, caps on, no caps off, no caps on, no space off, no space on. And I'm going to click on delete and yes. And now I'm going to close. I'm going to click on profile, save user profile, and I am done. New user complete. How long did that take me? Not too long. So now I can profile and exit user profile.
Would you also need to learn from specific documents?
Yes, I absolutely could learn from specific documents. I can go back in and do that real fast. And this is when we would run transcripts that we had previously completed. For some reason, it's not opening Dragon.
Okay. I'm ready for installing the patch if we want to do that now.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. I think Dragon's just filling the filling its age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so profile. Oh.
It's
Yeah. Okay, Michelle, over to you.
okay. Alrighty, so I've completed the install of Dragon, and now I'm going to install the 15.3 patch. I have not opened Dragon yet because I do want to show you that part where you have to activate it. When you uninstall it, you have to activate it again. It was activated for you by the school before you got the computer, so you didn't have to worry about that. But when you do the cleaner, you have to have your serial number, and then once it is installed, it has to be activated again through Nuance. And it's relatively simple, but I did want to show you that. So here is the installer.
This one actually goes quickly.
We just click on update. It's pretty much one thing. And then once I'm done with this, I'm going to show you how to activate it, how to import the user, and then we'll show you how to uninstall and reinstall Transcriptionist. And hopefully we have time for all of that. Just so you know, Adria, we did have a question. Someone asked about adding speakers in the dictate screen. I believe that's what was asked. So once I do the uninstall, and reinstall, I can show that.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yes, I will show you that when we get to the dictate screen. If you would have noticed when you were in the dictation screen, well, it's probably better that I show you instead of trying to explain. So, does anybody have any questions while we're waiting for this to do its thing? Sorry, I just muted Adria.
Hi, Michelle.
Yes.
Are you saying that at the end, on the end of this month, Dragon and all of this thing, we have to do this thing that you're doing here?
No. The reason we wanted to, you will not have to uninstall and reinstall. The only time you will have to do this is if you have a problem. And the reason we wanted to show you this is because you will have support with us for 1 year. And after that year, you don't have technical support with us. So we wanted it to be in a video, so in case you had to do it yourself, you have the resources to go back to and see how to do it. Because
Okay.
we're firm believers in you having the resources to be able to do it. And you know, we have customers, we've been in business since 1997, and some of our very first customers, they call and say, Michelle, you know I'm not doing this. You have to do it and I'll pay you to do it. They don't want to do it. They want us to do it. But if you don't have that ability, having the resource and being able to know how to do it yourself is important. The only thing in this that is missing from your instructions is the cleaner.
Okay.
So, you know, what's important to remember about the cleaner, if you clean it, and it warns you when you click on the cleaner that all of your user profiles will be deleted when it cleans off Dragon. So it does prompt you, and it's important to remember that you have to remember to export your user profiles before you do it.
Okay.
And my computer is just taking so long.
So we won't have to do this until something goes wrong, right?
Only if something goes wrong, yes.
All right. Okay.
And you know, like Adria said, you know, after the year, if within the year if this happens, you can call us, okay? But after that, we've had some of the previous cohorts who don't have support anymore. So you have this on video now. And if you have to decide whether or not to do this, email support is going to be free to you for the life, forever.
Okay.
you know, you can say, hey, Michelle, I'm having this problem. What do you recommend? And I might say, okay, reinstall Transcriptionist, start a new user, blah, blah, blah. And if we say, well, you're going to have to clean off Dragon and reinstall it, then you can say, well, you know, Michelle, they made a video of how to do that. And the cleaner is actually simple. You just have to remember to export your user profile before you do it and do the cleaner. And we have a FAQ on how to reinstall it step by step with pictures. So the most important part of this whole thing is remembering to export your users, because I have in the past, thank God I have backups everywhere. I have uninstalled it without having exported my Dragon user profiles, and then I've had to go search for an older profile, because as I said, as Adria said before, do as I say and not as I do.
Okay.
And yeah, me. Well, if they renew my contract, yeah, me.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, he said we have him.
Yeah, because I'm the person who did send their computers by
Oh, yes.
when they're having issues. So they will have me to help them out. However, that's if my contract is renewed. Then they will have me.
Yes, you are lucky to have an IT department. Most of our court reporters do not have that. So the installation finished, and I'm going to open up Dragon now. And here I'm going to simply say activate product. And because I already put the serial number in, it's going to activate it, and I am done. So I'm going to launch Dragon. I'm going to cancel here because this is wanting me to create a new user profile, and I don't want to do that. I want to use the user profile I already have. And so I'm going to go to Profile, Manage User Profiles, Advanced, Import. I'm going to go to my user profile. I'm going to import it. And because this user profile, my options are all set correctly, all I have to do is import the user. Once I'm done with that, once the user profile is imported, I'm going to exit out of Dragon. Now, if you have multiple users, the GN mic is this microphone that I'm using. It's a gooseneck mic. Later on, I will come back and import my mask user, because right now what I want to do is I want to show you how to uninstall Transcriptionist and reinstall. And so I have the Transcriptionist install here on my drive. So I have that already open. I'm going to go to Start, Settings, which is the gear. I'm going to go to Apps. And here it's going to be a little different for me than for you. You would come here to search, and you could type in Transcriptionist. There we go. You would click on it and uninstall. Usually, and again, this is something that you will only do if a problem exists. You will not do it just willy-nilly on any given day. But if you email us and we say, you know what, that's really weird behavior, so why don't you uninstall Transcriptionist and reinstall, that's when you would do this. So I'm going to close out of the apps and features, because I'm going to let it do its thing and uninstall. Again, remember that when you uninstall Transcriptionist, you are not going to lose any of your Transcriptionist data, any of your transcripts that you've done, any of your real-time rules, brief forms, word swaps, all of the things that you have customized in Transcriptionist for you will still be available to you even though you've uninstalled it, because it removes the program files, not the program data. So I'm going to go back to my installs that I have already picked up. I'm going to, you should have tr 10.3.56.msi. That is the install. I'm going to double click on it. And this is a really easy install. I'm going to click on next. It's going to prompt me with the license agreement. I click on I agree, next, 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 and then it's going to be finished. And once this is done, I'm going to open up Transcriptionist, and I'm going to show you how to add speakers in a job when you have multiple speakers. It's nice having an IT department. Makes things a lot easier for you. Adria, I muted you while you got up, so you're on mute now. So I'm sorry. Oh, let me unmute you. You got it?
Okay, I'd like to mention something, if I may. Over the years, we've met many, many, many different people. And people are different. There are some people who are geeky, we say, like the technical stuff. And there are other people who do not at all like the technical stuff. That is all right. You don't have to be one or the other. Being who you are is okay. You're with us. So what I'm getting at here is this. Everybody's going to have issues eventually. I mean, it would be unnatural to think that you're never going to have a problem with your software. Honestly, I've been in software for a long time, and obviously Rochelle has too, because she's smiling. And so she knows that where something can go wrong, it will go wrong eventually. Just know that you don't have to be super geek. If you have a problem and you are concerned about solving it yourself, or you are afraid about solving it yourself, you have these wonderful IT people, and they're not afraid at all, and we don't mind working with them. So if it upsets you, if it concerns you, if you have an issue and you're afraid to do what we suggest, no problem. For a year, the first year, we will dial in and do it for you. After that, most likely IT will be doing it for you. But you still have free email support. So you can always call and email and say, I have a problem. I don't feel comfortable fixing that. Do you mind if I have my IT guy email you? No, we don't mind. We don't mind at all. So I just wanted to let you all know that it's okay if you're not one of those geeky types. It's okay if you have a problem and you're afraid to solve it. There are people there to help you with that. We are some of those people. So just remember that, okay? And we're happy to work with your IT people to get you back up and running too. So no worries, okay? Michelle, all yours.
Okay, so while Adria was speaking, I just put in some information into the job. So I'm going to click on OK, and then I'm going to go into dictate. Oh. So I have a problem where my VLC is updating every day. So I'm going to have to uninstall and reinstall it. I'm sorry, Adria.
Teachable moment.
Yep. Okay, so good. Let me show you. So when I click on dictate, you'll notice at the bottom of the screen it says there is a problem opening scope. That usually means that the VLC, which is a component that we use, is it has updated to a new version. And this is probably something that you're going to experience more than any of the other things that I showed you. Like having to reinstall Dragon is not something you're going to have to do very often. Having to reinstall Transcriptionist may happen a little bit more than Dragon, but it's still not very common. But the VLC may update for you. And the reason mine does is we have an IT network administrators that have our computers on lockdown. And for some reason, to be honest, I haven't taken the time and asked them to make sure that whatever they changed our antivirus software, and I need to ask them to whitelist this so it doesn't happen. So I'm going to uninstall this real quick. It's very simple to do. I want to delete the preferences in cache. I'm going to close out of this. While this is happening, I'm going to go to my File Explorer. If I go to the C drive, there's a folder called Audio Scribe. And we have this executable in the Audio Scribe folder, so you don't have to download it. So once the install is complete, I'm going to click on Finish. The uninstall is complete. I'm going to click on Finish. And then I'm going to install the VLC 2.1.5. I like Hakuna Matata. So I'm going to click on, I clicked on English. I'm going to click on Next. Next. Make sure Delete Preferences and Cache is checked. Click on Next. Next. Okay, and then at the end, we want to keep checked Run VLC Media Player, because this is the important part. It's going to come up and it is going to ask if we want to make sure we uncheck regularly check for the VLC updates, because if that is checked, it will automatically update for you, and we don't want that to happen. So we just simply close out of this, and now I can go back to Transcriptionist. Michelle is a little impatient sometimes. Sorry about that. Okay, so I've already created the job. I'm going to go back into Dictate. Going to open up my user. Now, over here on the right side, you can have up to, I think, 300 speakers. And you might say, oh, I hope I never have to use 300 speakers. We have people who have worked on the Hill in Washington, D.C., doing senators and stuff, and they've had to have 300 speakers. We used to have a limit of 50, and we had to update that for them. So in the speakers, what you should type in is the way that you want the speaker to appear in the transcript. And most of the time, it is going to be in all caps. But the style is what does the formatting for the colon, the two spaces after, and the indent. So what you would do is just type the speakers in the order that you want to do that. This is something that I got from a court reporter, because I usually put the court as number 1. And so, you know, you might see things like the attorney. The thing about this is most likely a court reporter who works where they have arraignments, and one case is coming right after another, and she's not able to identify the attorneys by name because she's not going to know who's going to be the attorney until right before they start speaking. And so I may or may not use the attorney, but I would use the witness, so on and so forth. And one thing that I'm not sure that it was probably covered in the transcriptionist course, but for example, I'm going to take Mr. Tarver, number 17. I'm going to type his name in again. I'm dyslexic, so excuse me. And over here on the right, where it says COL, that stands for colloquy. If I click on the down arrow and I choose by, I'm going to show you the difference between those two. So I'm going to turn on my mic. SPE 1, SPE 2, SPE 3, SPE 4, SPE 5, SPE 6, SPE 7, SPE 8, SPE 9, SPE 10, SPE 17, SPE 17. I don't think I have that one trained. So let me come up here and okay. SPE 3, SPE 4, QCO, ACO, and so that's how you would type in the speakers. Is that what you wanted to know? Okay, you do not understand what the by is. Okay, I'm going to leave my microphone on. So say for example, there is there's Q&A going on, and there is an objection. Like if I say SPE 10, objection, form of the question. Well, when they go back to Q&A, typically they will do SPE 4, QCO. The question was, why were you there that day at the grocery store? Answer, I was there to buy a loaf of bread and milk. Oh, ACO, I was there to buy a loaf of bread and milk. And so in transcripts in court, usually when there's an objection and then colloquy to go along with that objection, when you go back to the question and answer, there's identification like by Mr. Laughlin to indicate that he is the one continuing to ask the question and answers. And that's what the by means. So if you have that instance in your transcripts where there's objections and debate, and then it goes back to the question and answer, you would use the byline. Just don't understand where you were getting it from. We use by very often in our transcripts. Okay, great. So what you should do when you do the byline, in the styles, they're already set up for you. You have speaker 1 and speaker 2, and you can see the difference in my dictation of how they should look. And so when you set up your speakers, you should set them up twice if you use the byline a lot. Once for the colloquy, which is you're going to use primarily, and then once for the byline, so you have them all in place. And remember that if you're not sure what speaker is what, like if you know Mr. O'Laughlin is speaker 3 for colloquy because you use it a lot, pick your foot up the foot pedal, off the foot pedal, and see what his byline is. For me, when I am using it, I typically these are not my speakers. I got this from a customer. I would usually, depending on how many speakers I have, I make a connection with 1 and 1. So I might do number 1 is the court and number 11 is by the court. Number 2 is Mr. Jones. Number 12 is by Mr. Jones, just because that's the kind of association I make. Everyone is different, and what works for you is what you should use. Just remember to do something that's going to be easy for you to remember. That's what it's all about, because, you know, when Diane was talking about keeping her hands on the keyboard, keeping your eyes or listening without having to pause and remember where you were before you start listening to the audio again, will make you faster at your job. Okay. Do you have anything else? That's pretty much it. You have the speakers, you have the untranslates, and I just want to show you here. You see this pale blue line above untranslates? If you don't use 30 some odd speakers, you can move the untranslates up so that you can see more of them if you use more untranslates. So just keep that in mind. And this screen is also, you can also move it over if you wanted to see more of your transcription page. All of these pale blue lines are scalable. And that is it for me, unless anyone has any more questions. You're welcome, Vanessa. You guys have been such a wonderful class, I must say. I'm going to miss seeing you every Wednesday.
It has really been a pleasure, and I am so grateful to have had you all in this class. Diane, would you like to address our class before we say goodbye?
Just to thank you for allowing me to watch and see you excel. I'm still blown away. I mean, I've been watching you now for over a 9-week period, but 8 weeks out of that time. And every single week when I see you again, it's some new goal that you've accomplished and something new. And you've always, when she was talking today, when Adria was talking, and then Michelle about the 125 instead of 100 and all of those things, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I knew you were wonderful, but my goodness.
Yeah.
So thank you for letting me see excellence in work.
Thank you, Diane, for being here with us and for just walking us all through this class. And we look forward to a continued relationship. So I'm not going to say goodbye. It's not goodbye. It's see you soon. And thank you again for being wonderful. And have a blessed day. And stay safe. All of you, stay safe and healthy.
And keep us posted about how you guys are doing with the coronavirus too. We'd love to hear from you, and I always love seeing beach pictures. So
if ever you want to make Michelle's day, just send her a beach picture.
And if I can ever help anybody on anything, I still have access to the Skype thread. Please don't hesitate. Let me know. You're all fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
yes, and thank you, Rochelle. Thank you for
Yes,
participating and
absolutely.
always being available. You're great at your job. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. We could not do this without you. No way.
Thank you, guys. It's the same thing I feel, and I'll miss everyone on Wednesdays.
It's such a wonderful experience, and it's just so sad when it ends for me. But stay in touch with me, please, please. And every once in a while, start a video chat on Skype so I can see your pretty faces and your handsome faces.
And listen to your beautiful voices.
That's
Well,
right.
Yes, and I'll say, see you real soon, like Mickey Mouse says.
Okay.
Bye,
Have
everyone.
a great day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.